This video is going to be about my bus trip through the Highlands. So I took this bus all the way to Portree and it was 7 hours long. And for the first half of that trip, I had a companion, this guy here. He's a Hungarian guy that I met on the bus. And that's me. So there's going to be more about him in my next video. Now, while the trip was actually 7 hours, an hour of that was spent in Fort Williams, which was our sort of pit stop. We could buy some food and all sorts of things there. It was also the place where the bus drivers changed over. The guy who was bringing the bus from Portree got onto the bus going back to Portree, and the guy bringing the bus from Glasgow went back onto the bus going back to Glasgow. And it actually confused me greatly because I remembered the bus driver instead of the bus, so I almost got on the wrong bus and went back all the way to Glasgow. Wouldn't have been nice. Also, the guy who was driving us from Glasgow had a terrible accent, like really strong Glasgow dialect. And I could barely understand him, and even the English people who were also on the bus with me were having problems. So that was kind of funny. This is a little house, and there were several houses along the way that were basically in the middle of nowhere. And, well, I wouldn't move that far away from nothing. Yeah. Oh well, whatever floats their boat. Hours may seem like a long time to spend on a bus, but it wasn't really, because I basically glued myself to the window in Glasgow, and then I unglued myself in Portree. As you can see, the landscape is extremely beautiful. It's all green and with all those mountains and valleys and lakes. It's amazing. Fort Williams was actually a separating point also, because until then the landscape was mainly flat with hills dotting the sides, and from then on I could see a lot steeper hills and a lot more dramatic landscape. Also, that's when I first started to see the clouds among the tops of the hills. The weather was quite nice until Fort Williams, but as I was getting my food, it started to rain. And from then on, it would rain periodically and then stop and then rain and stop, and it was basically a different kind of weather every 5 minutes. I didn't know at the time, but that would be basically the weather all throughout my trip. This is Moorland Castle. It's the most photographed castle in all of Scotland, and you must have seen it also in a couple of movies and TV shows. Usually the scenes don't actually take place inside the castle, but just get shots from the outside and then, have a set somewhere else. And this is Skye Bridge. It was finished in 2004, and until then you could only cross with a ferry. And this is the sight from the bridge itself. And this is our final picture for this video, and we have arrived in Portree. Tune in for the next video, please. Thank you.